Welcome to another Triathlon podcast, the podcast that brings the electrifying world of triathlons right into your headphones. Journey into captivating conversations, share the excitement of race recaps, enjoy the humor only a triathlete would understand, and join us as we debunk myths and bring you the bare, thrilling truths of the triathlon world. So feel your heart pound, breathe in anticipation, and get ready to dive into the world of triathlon. This is another Triathlon podcast. Enjoy the ride.
Welcome back to another Triathlon podcast brought to you by Mana Apparel. This week, we've got a classic episode. We've got some races to review, and then we're going to break down the Ironman 70.3 coming up in St. George, which is going to be quite the showdown. And then we'll have our usual What the F and social media posts of the week. Before I introduce the guys, though, go check out, if you haven't seen our YouTube or haven't been following along, we've had a few pro interviews on there. So those are always a great opportunity to get more insight into the minds of the pros and a couple that raced Ironman Texas recently. But from there, let's jump in, say hi to the crew, joined as always by Josh and Fed. Let's start with Fed. Hey, how are you doing these days?
Yeah, hey guys, good to be back after we had a hectic week when it comes to triathlon coverage, which is a happy problem, but going good. I was just texting with my coach, and he said, "Is everything okay? You have been in the water for a lot of days regularly," and I was like, "I still hate it, and I don't feel like a fish." So, doing a lot of band work, which. You know, I usually swim with my legs dragging. I haven't, all these years into triathlon, and I still haven't figured out the buoyancy situation. But and doing band work with paddles makes it a bit more obvious. But
getting the it with like your ankles tied up and no buoy, just trying to keep that.
I'm 90 degrees in the pool.
Yeah, right. You're just like me.
And loving those. Obviously, every time I look at the clock after like 100 or 200 rep of band work, I'm like, don't. Yeah, it's not good for the ego, but it's probably good for the body. So doing that and getting fitter, getting ready. And struggling in the good old H2O as probably most triathletes out there. What about you guys?
I was speaking of making me feel slow, watching Katie Ledecky throw down 8-minute 800s in Florida this past weekend, and all the and breaking world records again. And it's like, wait, I thought she was supposed to be getting older, and she's just crushing all the 18 and 20-year-olds and. Pretty impressive stuff to watch that this weekend. That was for sure. Did you guys catch any of that? The swimming competitions? It was it's insane to watch them swim. And it's also interesting to watch the difference in the swim strokes and how some of them are more of that galloper on top of the water and some of them are the gliders. She's definitely one of the gallopers. But yeah, that was kind of interesting to watch some of that and that new Grand Prix track events that they've got going on too. I tried to watch some of that. It was hard keeping up with everything.
Yeah, there's so much going on. Like triathlon in itself has enough events and series and everything going on. Never mind adding in other endurance sports.
Yeah, right. Which we were talking about before we got on air with Kokidana 250 going on right now.
Craziness. How's your training going these days?
It's going. We're back at it for sure. Had about a 15-hour week or so last week and able to do that and full week of work. And now I'm planning for my first work trip. So just kind of getting back at like making sure the training and the work are all prioritized along with family stuff and taking the dog to the vet like we talked about before and balancing it all. But able to do it and the body's responding. I texted my coach this week and I was like, coming off of the marathons at the end of last year, I was sore and the legs were achy and the Achilles were achy. And we did a lot of PT work at the beginning of this year and a lot of slow running. And this time the heart rate is still up a little bit, but my legs feel better than they've ever felt. And I was like, that's fine. We can stay slow and let the heart rate come back down. And the resting heart rate's getting closer. And even my heart rate last night, I did a 8-mile run I was able to keep it pretty low. So I feel like we're good there. Recovery has been really good, but literally as strong as I've ever felt, pain-free as I've ever felt. Like most runs, I'll have some pain. I mean, but now it's like I'm looking forward to those slow, easy aerobic runs and like just getting them done. And then what we've been doing is some efforts at the end with some like 6x30 sprints at like sub-6 type pace. So for me, pretty up there. And that's been a good response. And now the bikes are picking up. So looking forward to hopping in that sprint triathlon in 2 weeks. But I'm going to do the sprint triathlon and then do like a long bike ride afterwards. So there's no taper, no nothing. It's all just getting slid into the training schedule.
Yeah.
And we're looking at my big race is the Olympic in the middle of June, and then Oregon at the end of July are the next two big ones that are kind of being trained around.
Awesome. Well, good to hear everything's feeling good, especially after a surprise PR in a marathon. That's something you feel too often.
I'm telling you, those super shoes these days.
It makes such a big difference. It's insane.
It's all you, Josh.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the strength training that was added in and stuck to and consistent. I think that was a huge factor in there too, just taking care of the posterior chain. So whenever you see posterior work on your schedule, get it done.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah, especially because it's something that triathletes usually forget, because you can't like measure how much fitness or how much faster you're getting by doing strength work. But the way I like to put it is, it worked just after the race. You know what I mean? Like for instance, Josh right now pain-free, recovering faster, and that's all because of obviously the endurance work, but of course the strength training and all of that. And obviously it reduces the risk of injury if you do strength work. I mean, Jenna knows this. She's the expert when it comes to strength work for triathletes. But yeah, it's amazing how weird our brain as triathletes works. Just because we don't see the gains, it does not mean that it's not working.
Yeah, just being able to continue to train is huge, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have to take time off, that's where you can start to lose fitness, or if you have to drop your volume. But if you can do it on that progressive overload and pull it back down and go back up, and it's stacked over an entire year or 2 or 5, that's where it really starts to add up. And that's the long game that I've been playing, and it's fun to go after goals in between on the way. But the long game's the big part. Like, I'm new to the sport. This is still something I want to be doing for a long time. And that longevity is an important piece. I think even just the knowledge that I've gained from the pre-run activations or any of that type of work, the dynamic stretching before you go do a run to get everything fired up, and how different you feel when you just go into an easy jog with a little bit of stretching, or when you actually do like a good 15-20 minute activation before, and the difference that makes before, during, and after, especially.
Ideally. Yeah. No, it makes all the difference in the world. And that's something like going into this Ironman in Taiwan was the kind of the most on top of strength training. Not only like strength training with weights, strength training with hills on the run, strength training with low cadence work on the bike. And it definitely, like I had an 8-minute marathon PR, and that was because I just did not break down or slow down. Like I think the pace in the first half versus the second half was 5 seconds per mile. So it was just not slowing down makes a massive difference. And that's due to a lot of that strength training. If you can kind of overload that and make sure that you're resilient to it. That's why
you can feed your body the leg fatigue you have to be trained for.
Totally.
Absolutely.
No. Well, that's awesome to hear, Josh. Sounds like everything's firing and you're on track for some more fun racing ahead this year.
I'm looking forward to it. It's and there's so much racing going on in the pro world too, and it just keeps us all fired up. And how about you, Jenna? Now that you've got some better weather up there and able to get outside?
Yes, I went for my first outdoor ride at home, which a lot of people are kind of like shaking their head, or how can it be this late? But the weather is just insane here at times. So, could have gotten in a couple weeks earlier, but the weather started turning while I was in Taiwan, ironically. But it was so good. I got to go this weekend for one of my favorite sessions, just 100-mile ride out in the foothills by myself, just cruising zone 2 aerobic kind of deal. And it was so much fun. Just being out on familiar roads where you kind of know where you're going, and it was blue skies, had some winds, 20-mile-per-hour winds for most of it. So there was one point I was flying out, and I'm in my like biggest gear, spinning out, going slightly uphill, and I'm like, oh, this is going to hurt when I turn around. This is not going to.
Can someone just come pick me up at the end of this?
Right? Yeah. So I turn around, I'm going downhill in my small chain ring, pushing, and I'm just like, oh, this is some solid strength work. And I find times like that, it's so much about mindset. Like, yeah, it's going to be tough, but those are the things that really build up, like I said, that strength, but that mental resiliency to it. And because I deal with winds so often, I actually don't have speed on my computer or display screen at all, because it doesn't matter. I'm going off of effort and power, sometimes checking in heart rate and stuff, and just kind of going more by feel, because your body doesn't care if you're going 5 miles per hour into a headwind uphill or if you're going 35 miles per hour downhill. It cares about the energy expenditure at the end of the day. So that's why I like to just remove that completely, because sometimes if you see a crazy slow pace, it can just mess with your head a little bit. So take it out of the equation completely.
Yeah. It's like my band work on the water. Same thing.
Yeah, totally. Times don't matter for that. You're getting the best.
Do not matter for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, so it was really fun just to get outside a bit. And I've got my next race coming up is the T100 in Vancouver. So going to give the T100 distance a crack and see what all these pros are talking about and suffering on.
Complaining about or loving. I mean, it's like, which one are you all in on? 100 is not that big of a difference between 70.3, but we've seen that it certainly can be.
Totally. Although I don't think I'm going to get the pro service that they get at these races, with like the bike mechanics setting everything up and
massages and
all. Yeah.
Do you know where the swim start's going to be in Vancouver?
Don't know. I haven't looked at course and stuff yet. I think it's going to be around the university.
Okay.
Yeah, have to kind of check it out. I'm so bad at looking at course till the last minute. It's like, I'm just going to get fit and ready and then figure out the rest.
And go.
Definitely.
I'll tell you, I was just talking to my coach about that, because the Olympic distance that I'm getting ready for is going to be the only course that I haven't done before. And this season, and obviously Oregon, but Oregon, it's a downriver swim. I'm like, all right, just go. And then it's a flat bike and just go and then just run. So it's like that course I'm not so worried about, but the Olympic, knowing the course does make a huge difference. And I've now done Oceanside 3 times. I've now done like all these are starting to stack up, and I think it will make a huge difference, but I try and do my recon. It made difference for the Boston Marathon. That's for sure.
There you go.
But I would love to get outside and ride more now. And I thought I was going to this weekend, and I didn't get out inside the window before the weather turned. And now we're in like this awful way. But then I'm like, I don't want to take my bike off the trainer and then put it back on the trainer. It's like, do I really want to go take my backup bike and get it fitted exactly and put that on the trainer? And it's like, so I would imagine there's other people in the world right now that are dealing with the same thing. Like, do I take it off? Do I put it back on? And yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And today it's like 50 and rainy and foggy, and like it's just nasty. And we're going to be in this pattern for a couple of days. So on the trainer and building that mindset.
There we go. Build up that mental toughness and consume all of the triathlon content these days, because there
you go.
A lot.
Is your Olympic distance draft legal, or no?
No, not draft legal. It's a USAT.
Okay, gotcha.
USAT state championship to qualify for Milwaukee this year.
Oh, fun.
Gotcha. Okay.
Did you go and do Milwaukee if you qualify?
There's a chance that it could become a work trip as well, because SuperTri is going to have some representation in Milwaukee either way. And there's already somebody going. So I don't know if I qualified, if I would go, but if it can become a work trip as well, then I probably would.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of triathlon training in there, if you haven't seen already, Mana Endurance is doing a triathlon training camp over in Boulder this summer, and it is going to be So much fun. The cool thing about this camp is we do have a number of coaches coming out to there. So we can support athletes of all ability levels. In the past, we've had athletes who are just brand new to the sport and getting into it. I've got an athlete I coach. She started triathlon. She just got her first TT bike a week ago and stuff. So she'll be out there learning some new skills. And then we've got all the way up to Kona qualifiers, world champions. So there's definitely availability for everyone to kind of find their paces and get in some good training. The cool thing too is if you sign up by May 14th, you get entered into a free a contest for a free Ironman entry. We're doing a giveaway to one of the camp participants, so you have pretty good odds there. And you also get a custom camp cycling jersey, bib shorts, and running singlet included in your registration fee there too. So go check it out. Because you are a listener of another triathlon podcast, even if you're not a Mana team member, send us a DM and we can get you the Mana team member discount and pricing, same pricing they get, just as a thank you for listening and following along. But go check it out, manaapparel.com, and you can go under community and training camp, or just send us a DM on @another triathlon podcast and we can send you all of the details there. It is going to be so much fun. And I don't know if you guys saw, I shared on the group one of our other training camps in Cozumel. We like to train hard and get in all the work. And then you got to party hard afterwards. And we had one of our team members had a birthday party. So it was quite the after party after the camp weekend too.
Yeah, definitely a lot of FOMO going on for sure. And Boulder especially is quite the training grounds.
Such an iconic location. I lived in Denver for a while and I'd drive up, and at the time I felt like such a pro athlete. I had this really crappy old truck, like 1988, a little Ford, and I would have my Specialized Shiv in the back of this truck. The bike is worth way more than the truck. I'm like, oh yeah, I feel like a pro here.
There you go.
Yeah. It's so much fun to train up there. So definitely check it out. But let's jump into more of the pro racing here. We had another race in the Ironman Pro Series, which has been kicking off in phenomenal style. But Fede, why don't you tell us what happened this weekend?
Yeah, we had a race going on in Italy, which is part of the Pro Tri Series from Ironman in Venice-Jesolo in Italia, and we had
these things.
yeah, to try my best. It was a good race. I mean, it wasn't the hype race that we usually see. It wasn't Oceanside, so we didn't see some of like the bigger names. But yeah, it was like a pretty cool race. Definitely, if you are one of those triathletes that likes to travel to a race just because of the destination, I mean, this is probably on your bucket list. Italy, wine, pasta, cheese. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. There you go. And we had a pretty cool race. Let's start with the women. Obviously, riding the Norwegian hype train from Norway, we had Solveig Løvseth taking the win in 3:53. So I remember the day when it was a pretty big deal for women to go sub 4, and now they're just going sub 4, left, right, hilly, flat. It's just crazy, the level of competition. And she ran a 1:16, so she was.
I think that's like 3 wins in a row for her too.
Yeah,
I mean, she's on a tear.
Crazy.
Absolutely, and it's amazing because she raced a short course as well, but I believe like Julie Deron, her strengths lie more into the middle distance, longer distance type of races, which is awesome to see because just for all triathletes out there, know that you probably have a strength when it comes to distance. So just because you're not the best at Olympic or sprint doesn't mean you're not going to be great at 70.3s or full. Just it comes about, finding your strengths and knowing what you're good at. And second place from Germany, Lina Meifner. She ran a 1:20, so of course moving fast as well. And she also went sub 4, 3:59.42, so just barely under that sub 4 mark. And in third place from France, Emile Morier. She clocked a 4:01, so fast race on the girls' side. A special mention to Mona athlete, to Julie Yemolo from France. She didn't have like a super good race, but she was up there in the mix on the swim and on the bike. But
I think it was her 70.3 PR, but she also had raced Texas the week before.
Exactly. So, I mean,
that turnaround. Oh, like I always say, long to short, just not fun. That is impressive.
And it's always like a hit or miss. It's a mystery when you go like back to back. Either it goes amazing or it doesn't go like really, really, really good. So it's always like this gray zone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oof. Good turnaround. Yeah. And let's jump into the men's results, and then we'll have a little talk around kind of some of the stuff we saw on social media afterwards.
Yeah. On the men's side, we had a winner, and it looked like the name looks like something we might see on like a history book or something from way back when in Achilles and the great Greek empire. We had from Greece the winner Panagiotis Bitados from Greece took the win in 3:31. Yeah. Exactly. He looks like he could be like in a movie or something, like Gladiator 3 or something.
I think the talk is we're going to see more of him too. So I think we got to work on that name pronunciation. All three of us.
we need to polish our Greek. That's for sure.
I volunteer to travel to Greece to work on my pronunciation.
There you go, small sacrifice. And he ran a 107. So this is elite running. On second place from Great Britain, Cameron Main, again running super fast at 108, and on third place from Denmark, Emil Holm. And this was a closer race than the women, just 6 seconds from first to second. So a much closer race. And it's exciting how these pro series races are attracting young talent and super fast athletes and names that usually won't get on the start list on like a bigger race, but on these sort of races, they can showcase their ability a bit more.
2,500 points is 2,500 points, right?
There you go.
Why wouldn't you say something like an Oceanside and do something like this where you're not going to have the, like you said, Norwegian Hype Train or some of those big names out there?
It comes down to the travel expenses and all of that too. Like if you're an American, you look at your schedule, or if you're in North America, you're like, okay, how can I go to the most amount of races in the Pro Series on the least amount of travel and budget? Where some people it doesn't matter and you can travel wherever, but this is certainly one of those races that if I was a European, I would have probably targeted.
Totally.
Yeah. And I mean, it was like a super solid race, like a strong field. We had the likes of Pierre Lecour, former 70.3 world champion Rico Bogan, Jonas Schomburg. So it wasn't like a walk in the park for Panagiotis.
And I know a lot of them were getting their spots for Marbella too. So it was like on top of the Pro Series points, I know Rico didn't have the greatest race points wise, but he did lock in his slot for Marbella. So there's a lot of that going on, and a lot of the slots are dropping down because we're this late in the season too. So people are grabbing spots, finishing 6th, 7th.
Starting to roll down there. Yeah. Well, while we're talking about this race, I'll jump into my what the F of the week here, because I shared it on the Another Triathlon podcast, social media and Instagram. Draft Fest, anyone? There were some views of that bike course, and that 12-meter rule was definitely not being followed at times in there.
It looked like the Daytona 500. Let's put it that way.
Tour de France race going on.
Yeah, it looked like an ITU Abu Dhabi type of course where everyone's just together. Yeah.
4 wide. 5 wide.
Yeah, and it looked like some of the roads on there too were super sketchy with how tight they were with so many athletes on that course. Like that's like we saw some pretty catastrophic repercussions of having courses that weren't wide enough to actually support the number of athletes on there. So it's crazy to me that Ironman is still approving some courses like that, because with the pro athletes going across with a race that has more visibility because it is part of the Pro Series, and then a ton of age groupers on course too, like it's shocking that we're still seeing some of these really, really tight ones where it's easy for something to go wrong very, very quickly.
Yeah, especially this part of the season too. Like we've all talked about, like not everyone has been out on their bike. Not
Oh, for
everyone's been. I mean,
sure.
these are bucket list races for some people. It's one and done, and the rules aren't followed or even known. So when you do have a pro race involved, it's got to. I mean, like you said, there's got to be a way to do it differently.
Yeah, especially when you're seeing draft packs like that, like, that gets sketchy really quickly. Because one thing triathletes don't do a lot of is riding in a pack. Most of us, like you said, are inside, not getting that outdoor training time. And if they are getting outdoor training ride, it's not in a peloton.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially riding on the air bars, it gets a bit sketchy being that close. I mean, it just calls for accidents because you can't access your brakes while being in air position. And some of those videos and some of those photos where the athletes were super close to each other, and if they can't hit the brakes super fast, then it's the recipe for disaster.
And it's one thing saying that Ironman should be making sure that people aren't drafting, but at the end of the day, try to take a little personal accountability here. Like we do the sport to challenge ourselves to be the best that we can be, to do something hard for the satisfaction of just accomplishing something. So if you find yourself sitting in a draft pack, maybe just kind of think about that a little bit. I know at times it's tough to get out of them, but in some of those, it looked like everyone was just kind of piling up together. So.
And we're not talking about like, am I 10 meters or 12 meters? Or if I'm like, no, this is like, are you riding wheels and somebody's next to you?
Yes.
And there's obvious situations where you're in the wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's move on. Something we've wanted to talk about. The Ironman 70.3 in St. George is coming up this weekend. And this is going to be an absolutely epic race. This is an iconic location. It's held the World Championships, the 70.3 World Championships. For years, they had a massive MDOT in their town center. And this year, unfortunately, it sounds like it's going to be the last year that the race will happen there. I'm still half expecting at the award ceremony for Ironman to announce like a special announcement. We renewed the contract for the next few years, but as of right now, it doesn't sound like that's going to happen. But
no, every one of their posts is like the last year. It's like Ironman's just like rubbing it in. Like everyone else is saying, I hope it's not. And Ironman's just like, nope, it's the last one.
We're done. We're out of here.
Man.
Oh man, it's sad to see such an iconic race kind of go away, because we've seen some incredible performances there. I've raced over there, and it's just such a cool course and a really fun place to go to. I think for a while triathlon kind of got burnt out on St. George, and I think that's why they saw kind of registrations go down for a while, because it was the World Championships every year for some distance or another. But I think it's a shame to see it go. But let's dive into what it looks like from the pro racing side of things. We'll start off with the women here. We definitely have some people who know this course well and will definitely tear it up. On the women's side, we've got Paula Findlay, Chelsea Sodaro, Tamara Jewett, Victoria Lopez, Jackie Herring, who we just recently talked to, Jocelyn McCulley, Lottie Wilms, Danielle Lewis, Kari Kavoja, Rachel Zelinskas. We have got a massive field going on in here.
Rachel just announced she's not going to do it, though. So she's still recovering from Texas and the injury that she had to pull out with on that one. So she's actually, I think just even today, maybe announced that she's going to pull out from this.
Well, that's a shame to hear.
So there goes our swim pack up front.
There we go.
Yeah, definitely. We've got a couple of swimmers who could really kind of tear up, like Lottie Wilms or Victoria Lopez. We always see Victoria kind of leading the front in there. They're going to put some pressure on for sure. Yeah, but this 100%. Race, this is such a biker's course, I feel at times. And apparently I've heard they've changed the run course from previous years, where before it used to be super, super hilly up and down. Like that course was mean. You like head out of transition and it was 3 miles uphill.
Straight up.
And then you had to, at the end, run 3 miles downhill, which your quads do not love.
Yeah.
But it sounds like they have changed the course, so it is a lot more moderate, although there's a bit of off-road running at the same time, which never feels great either. But that's why I look to someone like Paula Findlay. Like this just seems like her kind of course, and we've seen her do well here in the past. What do you guys think?
It's definitely a course she's familiar with, and we've talked about and seen come through that mojo on the course, and when you have those good vibes, and good memories at a place, you just kind of go through the motions and execute your race plan a little bit differently than you might in the past, where you might put some pressure on or wonder what the next turn's going to actually be like in race pace scenarios. So that's something she doesn't have to worry about. I think it's a lot of them are coming back here. Jackie Herring's been there a number of times. I mean, this is a course that a lot of them are familiar with, and it's going to make for some really good racing. So yeah, I think Paula feels good, but I think there's some other company there too that are going to join her in that same type of feel, and really who's got the good legs on that day.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, Jackie Herring, she'll be coming out there, and she was so strong in Oceanside and definitely is showing some really incredible form right now. So we could definitely see her chasing down again. It'd be fun to see another battle there.
Yeah, and can Chelsea be healthy after 2 weeks coming off of Texas where she was sick? So she hasn't raced yet like the rest of them, and Lottie Whelms hasn't raced much. So obviously she's got a little bit more traveling to do to get there than others. But I mean, the top of this field, Jocelyn McCauley too. Like what kind of 70.3 legs does she got?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see because how they pace this race, because being the last one, like Ironman is, announcing it to be, I think a lot of these athletes are going to take a bit more pride into wanting to be the last athlete ever to win 70.3 St. George. So I think we're going to see some amazing racing, but also some amazing blow-ups as well.
Especially on this course too. Like it really, if you overcook that bike ride, that run, like it's going to be tough to run in that.
Yes, especially on the dry air, desert air, and it's not a sea level race. It's got a bit of elevation. So, if you're not fit and ready, that course is gonna bite you in the rear.
It's going to be interesting too with the bikers that are in this field that don't necessarily have the run legs that some of the other athletes do. Like we know Paula's pretty well rounded. Chelsea's got crazy run legs. But you put somebody like Elisa Becaris and a Jocelyn McCauley on a breakaway on the bike, like they could push the pace to the point where others have to react and go. Danielle Lewis, if she's close coming out of the water, like they can really up the pace on the bike and break some legs coming into the run. And like, how does that impact the whole thing? So I think it all depends on the dynamics of that bike ride.
Yeah, and we're going to have someone like a Jocelyn McCauley. She'll probably be like a couple minutes down out of the swim, and she'll go hard to kind of catch that group and get back up there. And then the question is, do people go with her as she passes, or do they just ride their own race out there? We have kind of from the stats, Paula has a few minutes advantage on some of these bikers from kind of historical data in there. But like you mentioned, you have some of the runners like Chelsea Sodaro, if she's on her day, Tamara Jewett, if she comes out of that bike unscathed. But her bike time is kind of estimated to be like 8 minutes slower than someone like a Paula Findlay. So it'll be interesting to see how she handles such a tough bike course, because I think this one really separates people. There's no hanging out at 12 meters or riding with the group, because the hills just separate this race so much.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, Paula's certainly familiar with Snow Canyon. I mean, she just went after the QOM earlier this year. So, I think the bike is certainly going to dictate how this plays out. But the run has always been the determining factor at this course. And I know it's changed over the years, but getting through the hills on the road and then through the golf course is going to be the deciding factor. And then what is the temperature going to be? We've seen years where it's gotten pretty hot, and in other years where it's not really a factor. I haven't looked at the forecast yet.
Looks
I've
like
gotten hail on that course.
Oh no.
And I've done that race, and 1 year I've gotten hail coming down Snow Canyon, and the next year it's boiling hot, and it looks like Kona 2.0. So, and then the next year the wind is blowing super hard. So just expect everything really. Bring an umbrella, flip-flops, a jacket, and sunblock.
I did see in Arizona today, there were parts of the Cocodona race that's going on that they're like, it's sunny and 60. And then there's other parts where it's 40 and snowing and hailing.
There you go.
Craziness. But yeah, last I looked at the forecast, it looks like it's going to be in the 90s for race day in St. George. So that is climbing up Snow Canyon in the
Factor.
90s is...
Yeah, in an aero helmet.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That will not be feeling great. They'll be looking forward to that descent just for a little bit of cool air.
yeah.
Well, let's make the call in here. Who do we think is going to take it this weekend? Who do you got, Josh?
And the heat might change. I mean, Victoria Lopez might be a factor now in the
True,
entire race.
yeah.
If you're going to play with the heat game, it's just, to me, I actually think, after talking to Jackie, and that episode will drop soon, but after talking to Jackie last week, she's in such a great place with her mindset and her approach
Really is, yeah.
to this year and this season, and where she is in her career and in life. So I just feel like this is a family vacation first and foremost, and then she's there to do business. So I kind of like Jackie to redeem her race in Oceanside and finish in front of Paula in this one. So I'll go Jackie, Chelsea, Paula. If the weather's warmer, I don't like Paula to hold on.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Well, you know what? I got to go with the Canadian again. Last time I called a Canadian podium, or Canadian winners all around, it worked. So
There you go.
no, I think Paula, she's just seems to be in this great mindset lately. Last year, it seemed like she struggled a little bit, but she just seems to be kind of loving it at the moment. And of course, that she's so familiar with and has had good results on. And with her bike strength, I think she's got it today. But I'm going to go Paula for the win, Jackie Herring for second. And, you know what? I think I want to see Tamara Jewett come through. That'd be awesome to have two Canadians on the podium, but that might be a little bit hopeful there with that bike course. How about you, Fed? Who do you got?
I'm actually going to go ahead and pick Lotte Wilms for the win. I think obviously Paula is going to have an amazing bike leg, but I think Lotte is going to be right there in the mix, and it's going to come back from behind. I see Lotte coming like a good minute and a half after Paula on the bike, but then I think she has her own legs to catch her and potentially pass her. So I'm going to go Lotte Wims for the win, Paula Findlay second place, and Jackie third place.
And interestingly for this race too, so there's 4 slots for the men and 4 for the women for the World Championships. And right now, it could really go down to 10th place or further for these spots, because we got Paula Findlay, Victoria Lopez, Jackie Herring, Lotte Wilms, Danielle Lewis, Rachel Zelinska. They all have their spots already. So these could potentially roll down fairly far.
Lisa Becaris, I think, took hers in Oceanside as well, if I remember correctly, where that slotted down. So she's my honorable mention to this one. Like, she's the X factor. If like she can ride off on the bike and has improved her fitness running wise since Oceanside. Remember, she led that race coming out of T2 and for a decent amount on the run. So she could be an X factor.
Love to see it. And Torsten's got some odds on race day here. He's got Paula Findlay with 66% chance of winning, Chelsea Sodaro with 12, Tamara Jewett 8, Jackie Herring 6, Jocelyn McCauley 5, Victoria Lopez 2. So, Josh, you should put some, if we could put some money on it with that Jackie Herring.
Right. Coming off the Kentucky Derby weekend.
That'd be awesome. Well, let's move over to the men's race. This is going to be no less entertaining, we'll say. This is like a world championship quality field. For like, there's some depth here, which is cool to see. So we got the likes of Sam Long, Magnus Ditlev. We're going to see what he's been up to. Lionel Sanders, Trevor Foley, Jake Birtwistle, Jackson Laundrie, Matt McElroy, Seth Ryder, Sam Appleton, Matt Henson, Mark Dubrick, Hamilton, Matthew Marquardt, Max Newman. Like, you just keep going. Matt Sharp is going to be over there. Like,
Maxie Newman is showing up.
Maxie Newman.
He's there. Yeah. He's officially in St. George.
Perfect. Yeah. And then we got Cam Worf on the start list, as always, the perpetual name on the list. We'll see if he makes
the
that
Olympic
back
champion. Chris Hammer's there too, racing as an able-bodied pro, which is really neat.
Very cool. Yeah, no, there's definitely, this is going to be crazy. And, you know, when I think of this race, I always think back to that battle between like Sam Long and Lionel Sanders on the run, just going head to head, who is going to edge it out there. And that was one of those fun ones on the course, because the course was so hard on that run. They were just suffering. But this race could be anyone's game out there. I'm really curious to see what Magnus Ditlev does. We haven't really seen it out yet to have a hit out. So what do you guys think we're going to see this weekend?
I think we're going to see a very fast bike leg from the guys. Yeah. And I think it's going to be like a bit of an ego battle. I'm going to say it's going to be completely ego, but I think we're going to see a lot of, hey, I'm the strongest biker here. So if you wanna win the race, you're going to have to beat me on the bike. So, and potentially we're going to see a lot of overbiking as well.
Yes.
Just especially because, yeah, exactly. Just because you can ride with the group on this course doesn't mean you're going to have the wrong legs to deliver. So it's definitely going to be interesting. And the first couple, 3-4 miles on the run are going to tell us a lot on who's feeling good on the day.
Yeah, and I think we'll have some like Magnus Ditlev. He'll be a little ahead out of the water, like 90 seconds, 2 minutes kind of thing ahead of the strong bikers. Because we've got Sam Long, Lionel Sanders, Trevor Foley. They're all going to be kind of around that same bike time, working together, which could be interesting to see play out. What do you think, Josh?
I'm just trying to see who we could have in that swim field that could lead this out. And I mean, Justin Reale is going to be up front. Seth Ryder is going to be up front. It's going to be very similar to Oceanside without a true front pack swimmer. Dubrick, another one, Sam Appleton. I think you're going to see these guys leading out. And Justin Reale can push the pace. So again, we've seen he rode off at Oceanside, and if he's out of the water ahead, who goes with him? Seth Ryder had a great Oceanside and put his name on the map in this distance. So, but then you get the big guys up front, and we know they're going to be coming from behind at some point, especially Sam and Lionel, and how much of a swim can Sam have? I mean, I think we've all seen Lionel's actually had a pretty decent swim in Oceanside the last couple of years, but we haven't seen Sam have a swim at this distance because he's been so T100 focused. So this is going to be an interesting one. He's been kind of quiet, right? Because he hasn't done anything since Singapore, and no one really paid attention to that at Singapore either. It's like he's just going to be last out of the water. So this race is important for him and for this season in general, I think, in the Pro Series, for people to say, hey, we're going to challenge Magnus. Like this is Magnus's season to win the Pro Series. And we know he's going full after it, but this will be the weekend that really sets the table for the rest of the year.
Yeah. And it's an interesting point about the swimmers too. Like we do have some faster swimmers, some ITU guys. Like you said, someone like a Jake Birtwistle could be up there too, but they're not like crazy far ahead of kind of the predicted times for Lionel Sanders. And Magnus Ditlev is just so steady across all three. He's going to be kind of, if he can hold on to the front pack, which he's like right on the cusp of kind of thing, then that's going to be interesting to see what kind of lead he builds up on the bike. But then you come to Lionel Sanders, who is like the most winningest 70.3 athlete ever. And this course, he knows how to suffer on. We've seen him do it more than once in all sorts of conditions. So yeah, I'm curious to see, do we see like a Magnus Ditlev comes out of the water ahead of the Uber bikers and stays away for the day, and then we battle it out on the run, which would be very fun to see him being chased down by a Sam Long and Lionel Sanders and some of the other runners like Trevor Foley or Jake Birtwistle. Or are we going to see it come together on the bike? I have a hard time seeing it come together on the bike if Magnus is having his day. What do you guys think?
Yeah, totally. And now that you mentioned it, I think how they ride down Snow Canyon, one thing is going to be riding up super fast, but also the way they ride down those last miles to transition are going to be make or break, because it's not like free coasting, enjoying the view. You can make a difference if you ride well down Snow Canyon to transition. And I think we're going to see a lot of big chain rings, especially for Magnus. So
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I think it's going to put down the hammer on that descent, and it's going to be tricky. But I'm definitely excited to see what Lionel and Sam do to breach out, because, like you mentioned, someone like a Justin Riley, who's like a great swimmer, and maybe he gets out of the water with someone like Magnus, but maybe Magnus drops him, and then he's in no man's land, and then the likes of Ben Hamilton, Sam Long, Lionel Sanders catch up, and then they may catch up back to Magnus. I don't know, there's going to be a lot of dynamics going on, and I think it's going to be a super exciting bike course for sure. So yeah, looking forward to it.
This one where I wish I was in transition to see some of those gearing choices, because they're going to be some plates on these bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, enormous one buys for sure coming up. We haven't even talked about Jackson.
Yeah,
he did show up in race in St. Anthony, so he is getting into form. I just don't know if he's going to have the run form at the half marathon distance to hold on if he does anything on the bike. But his bike fitness is there. And that's for sure. So I think he'll be a factor on the bike course where he might just be like, hey guys, sorry, I know I'm not going to podium at this race, but I'm going to make you wreck your legs right now.
Oh, we're going to see so many blowups at this race. I just can see it happening. Everyone's just going to go hard on that bike, and then the heat and the run. It's going to be, I think, some spectacular ones.
And I can't even think of a podium for this one right now.
Man, yeah. Well, I'll go then for the podium. I think we've got a Lionel Sanders win because he's on a streak here. Magnus Ditlev, I think he's going to lead most of the race, and then Lionel will catch him on the run, hopefully. And then, a third place. Let's just go Jake Birtwistle. He is going to find some form and have a good 70.3 here and get it done.
He had a great Oceanside minus that penalty too.
Yeah,
and
totally.
That penalty kind of ruined his day. So we didn't really get to see how that run was going to really play out.
All come together. How about you, Josh? Who you got here?
Speaking of Oceanside, I'm going to go with the surprise top of the race. Seth Ryder's going to put it all together.
Okay.
I mean, he was right there with Lionel, and I think if he had run his race, he would have probably finished second in Oceanside. And we've had plenty of time with fitness, no niggles like Lionel's had. So Lionel certainly wasn't feeling well enough to race in Texas. Obviously, that was more of a respiratory type problem that he had, and a lot of people had coming out of Oceanside. But I think that has probably going to impact some of his performance here. I think those guys are just going to wreck themselves on the bike, and I'm going to go with Seth Ryder up front, Magnus in second, and then my boy Matt McElroy running through the field to get on top of the third step of the podium.
Nice.
I like it. How about you, Fede? Who do you got here?
Well, I wanted to pick Lionel, but now obviously we need to leave it to the Canadian here. So, like Josh said, it's really hard to pick a podium in this one. Like, we could throw in like 10 different podium combinations, and it might as well be, or we might miss it completely. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick Magnus for the win. I think he's gonna ride away from everyone, and he's just gonna dominate the bike course. And I'm gonna go with Lionel on second, and third place, throw a wild card and pick. Let's see. Well, it's not really a wild card, but
there is no real wild cards in the top 20 of this race.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ben Hamilton. On third place. Yeah.
You know who we didn't even talk about was Cam Wurf, who has the fastest Ironman bike time in history. So 70.3, Cam Wurf might really want to throw down.
I don't know if he's going to show up first off, and two, how's he going to back up Texas? But yeah, it's crazy to think, especially on a course like this where the bike is so significant. Yeah. It's crazy that he's not. There are just so many people on here right now that it's hard to mention everyone. We also have the case with World Championship qualifications. So interestingly, Sam Long and Magnus Ditlev don't have theirs, but in the top kind of 10 or so, we got Lionel Sanders has his, Trevor Foley, Jake Birtwistle, Jackson Laundry, Matt McElroy, Seth Ryder, Mark Dubrick, Ben Hamilton, Justin Riale. So they've all got their 70.3 World Championships locked up already. So When it comes to kind of the, I guess, odds based on the data from Torsten, we've got Magnus Ditlev with a 44% chance of winning. Sam Long with 28, Lionel Sanders 10, Trevor Foley 8, Max Newman 5, and Matt Hansen 3.
Yeah, Trevor might not even race too. So, I mean, like, that's still a game time decision whether he's going to race or not.
Yeah. Ugh, craziness. But good to see. It's definitely going to be a fun event to watch. And Josh, I think you had a social media post of the week that kind of worked around this event too.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of action around the On Your Left social media page, especially their Instagram, and really picking up their. I mean, he lives right there in St. George, so there's been a lot of focus on that. But I would say if you haven't paid attention to On Your Left on Instagram recently, it's time to pick it back up because he's on his A game right now, and there's a lot of really fun knocks at the sport, and then at the same time some serious posts as well too. And he knows what he's talking about, so definitely give them a check, and a lot of creative posts that he comes up with.
I like his rankings of the athletes with the different tiers that are available for these races. He definitely.
What are some of the categories that we got for this race?
Let's see. Let's pull it up here. He has some interesting categories like there's the Yo Limits with Lionel and Sam Long, the Feed.com, When It's On, Big Boulder Energy, Feeling Frisky. On the women's side, we got Nails, Alexa Play Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit. So yeah, definitely some fun rankings there. A little bit of a different perspective on triathlon, and they don't take things too seriously, but are so into the sport too. So lots of fun to give them a follow. And then to give a little update on the Ironman Pro Series rankings, we've got some updated numbers after the past few weeks of racing. I'll go into the top 5 of each men and women right now, but we got Anne Reichman topping up the Ironman Pro Series for the women with Venice and South Africa. We have Chloe Lane in second, who's already racked up 3 races with Texas, South Africa, and Geelong. We got Maya Stage Nielsen, who's in third with Venice and South Africa. Kat Matthews only has 1 race on the board, and she's already in 4th place with that win at Texas. And then we've got Tamara Jewett with Texas and 70.3 in Oceanside. So I'm sure we're going to see lots of changes as we go throughout the season, but interesting to see where we're standing at the moment. And then on the men's race, we've got one of the pro interviews that we did recently. Go check it out with Rudy Von Berg. He's topping the rankings with 3rd in Texas and 2nd at Oceanside. And then we've got Jonas Schomburg is 2nd place with Venice and South Africa. We got Christian Blumenfeld down in 3rd with his 1st place in Texas, but unfortunately that 15th place with the flat tire in Oceanside kind of threw down his rankings. And we've got Dominic Sowija, who has 3 results with Texas, 70.3 Oceanside, and 70.3 Geelong. And finally, in 5th place, we've got Leon Chevalier with Texas and South Africa. So we are going to see some moves throughout this year, but it's fun to kind of see where it's standing at the moment before things start to get cemented as everyone's getting their first couple races to go.
Yeah, and you're going to see people having to add races and things like that as the year goes along if they don't get the points that they want at certain days.
Mm-hmm. As soon as we see Kat Matthews do another race, she'll be up at the top of the rankings.
She's got Hamburg probably up next, right?
Yeah. Man, some wicked racing ahead. Was there anything else that was going on in your guys' heads around triathlon and racing this season before we say goodbye?
I think that covers it this week. Just focus on St. George and enjoy.
Yeah, definitely tune in. That's going to be a fun one to watch. And especially in North America, it's a little bit easier to watch than some of the other races we've had overseas. So be looking forward to waking up and seeing all the action go down at St. George. But until then, like I said, go check out. We've done a few pro interviews over the last little while, and check us out on YouTube or anywhere you listen to podcasts, and head over to our Instagram at Another Triathlon Podcast, and you can get all of our handles there as well. But until next time, have a good night, guys.
Yeah.